Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I am here with my co-host from Sparkling Tucson. PK, how are you tonight?
Frazzled and can't believe that everything goes wrong when it happens. This is a month of year of communications, and this is a month when lots of changes have been taking place, particularly today. Great day, good changes, the luck factor that goes with it, except that it took out my Skype. And I took out my AOL this morning, and I said, I don't know how long I'm online getting it taken care of. And then when I get it back up, and then I try to set things up for tonight, and my Skype is gone again. And I'm going, okay, God, I don't know what you're trying to tell me, but I'm not a happy camper.
Oh, well, you know what? You need You need an alignment from our guest tonight. Kerri Kannan is going to be joining us in a few minutes, and she is going to do a free alignment, maybe more than one, for our entire audience. And PK, you need to be first in line for this, given what's been going on with you today. So
take it. Talk about
so take it. That's right. That's right. I know it. Well, that's.
Go ahead. I was just going to say there's so many things that are.
I was going to say
and it all.
There's a lot going on in the world. That's for sure. Yeah. Well, look, you and I were talking previously about what's going on with the numbers, and we've been watching this for the last couple months. And of course, this is right in alignment with all of this UFO stuff that's coming out. All of these agencies finally saying that they admit that they're watching these UFOs, blah, blah, blah. So what did you find in the numbers about this?
Well, we knew that it started last month when they knew that they couldn't hide it anymore. Well, they've known it for a long time, but they keep tiptoeing around it. But this month, we knew that it was going to come out in a very positive way where we're going to start not being fearful of it. And that's the biggest problem. People are afraid that people are going to get scared. We're not going to get frightened from it because it's all a part of what's been going on for how many years going back, for God's sake. How do you think many of the things have transpired in this world that have taken place without the help of those, shall we say, above, that have been here to help us below get things taken care of? We couldn't have done a lot of these things on our own, but we've been taught and we learn. Now, the thing is, a couple more days, we're going to be in that beautiful 9 months of ending old things, and boy, just get a notepad, hang on, start taking notes, because there's going to be a lot of things put in our way to take a look at to make a difference in what's going to really be happening before this year is over. And when I say this year is over, I'm talking about September. So it's going to be very,
September,
very interesting.
Okay.
Yep. So hang on to the side of the boat, folks, and enjoy the ride. The water splashes you in the face just to keep safe to watch what's happening. So.
Well, you know, I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's so much that they're concerned people are going to be afraid. I think it's more that they need to hold on to their power, and that's why they are doing it this way. And if you look at our Facebook page, everybody, we've got some interesting stories for you to look at. I mean, since when does the New York Times report on UFO? Since when does the Washington Post do a big story on UFOs and say, get used to it, they're here, but then they don't talk about where they come from, are these aliens. They don't say that. They just say they're unidentified things in the sky, and we should all be comfortable with that. So that's step one. Now,
Yeah.
the question is, when are they going to drop the other shoe with step 2? All right, which is now where do these things come from? You're going to tell us that you've known all along that they are aliens and interdimensionals, both. So I'm not sure when that's going to happen. And then I also wonder what's step 3, right? But you know that there's got to be pressure on the government right now to be doing this because they don't do this willingly. So something or someone pressuring them to do this now. They don't want to do it. It's obvious.
It's been coming out for a while. And there are so many things that are going on that, and I talk about fear of, there are a lot of people that are very fearful, whether it's for their job or their party or whatever. But it's time that we just grab hands, work together, and let's get this show on the road. My God, look at the benefits we could all have from it. That we make it
yes. I mean,
dodging. Not good.
You know, there's always benefits when people come out of denial, too. I mean, people drop that, the fog that they've been living in. But as you know, our audience has always been on top of this. We have the best audience in radio, and they get it. They know that these things are here. The ships are here. The beings are here, whether they come from other dimensions or other planets. Our audience knows that, and we know we've been lied to. We know we've been strung along. We know that abductees and people that have had experiences have been abused in an effort to cover this up. But that is going away. They can't cover it up anymore because there's so much of it. Everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody can take pictures and movies. It's impossible to cover it all up now.
I was talking to a group of people, and they lived near the border. And we were talking about these things, and they said, I said, well, I thought you were going to tell me they don't exist. And they looked at me and started laughing. They said, we used to sit on the roof and watch them at night. And they were when they were kids, and they're in their 40s and 50s now. They started laughing. They said, you people are so silly to wait this long to acknowledge what's been there all along.
Yeah, I mean, it's right. It's true. And it's true. Yeah, I mean, if you talk to people that have witnessed this, and certainly East Ranch, we've had that gentleman on from East Ranch, and that's a big portal for ships out there. And again, it's happening all over the world where people are actually capturing this on film and also on their cell phones and still pictures, and you can't deny it. So it's there. It's there. We all know it. And now I just can't wait to see how they're going to manage all this information. It's going to be, I'm getting my popcorn. I got to tell you, I'm getting the popcorn for this one.
Get the lounge chair ready, sweetheart. We've got a long way to go.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting. It really will. Now, I also wanted to remind everybody a couple of important things. If you want a numerology reading, then be sure to contact Miss PK. PatriciaKirkman.com is a good place to go to find all the information, as well as Supernatural Girls with a Z.com. So you can book your sessions with PK. She can tell you what your name means, your birth date, and what to expect in the coming year. So that is an appointment I highly recommend you make. Also, we have our candles with an attitude that have been designed by Miss Rasbold, Katrina herself, and myself. And these are soul realignment candles. We also have one for wisdom. We have one for love. So be sure to check it out. That's on our website. If anybody wants to order more than one, and if you're having any trouble with a shopping cart, make sure you contact me. Just send me an email. Email's on the website, and I'll be happy to help you with your purchase. Also, our sponsor, Astridian, is offering a 10% discount to all of our listeners at Supernatural Girls for any of their skin products. They are great, all mineral, heavy mineral based. I mean, they're just so natural and so good for your skin. They also have a new CBD line of creams and lotions, so be sure to go to their website, astridian.love. Use the code Supernatural. They also send you some free samples, courtesy of Supernatural Girls Radio. So be sure to check all of that out. And, again, go to our Facebook page to read these articles coming out in mainstream media. It's remarkable. I mean, it's remarkable the way they're orchestrating all of this. And you know it's being orchestrated. We'd love to hear your comments on any of these stories that you're reading and seeing in the news. Be sure to drop us a line. We always love to hear from our listeners. So, exciting times, right, PK?
Oh, definitely that. Just hang on to the side of the boat and ride the waves. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, we're riding. We're riding. So, tonight we are so blessed to have on our show a real expert with divine authority creation. Now, this is something that's really new to me and to you too, PK. I know we've talked about this. This
Right.
is an amazing ability that Kerri has, and she's sharing it with us tonight. Now, she's got over 20 years of teaching, coaching, speaking, and studying the nature of consciousness. She's very well versed in the language of self-love and realization. And in 1988, she had her first major spiritual epiphany and realized that all challenges came from a lack of self-love. So over the years, her focus has remained on self-love. However, her definition of the self has radically transformed. Kerri has a gift that she's sharing with us tonight that allows her to ask consciousness for change on behalf of others, and people have told her that various areas of their lives have been miraculously healed as a result of listening to her work. Now, I've got a story to share, and then we're going to bring Kerri on. So, Kerri, when I spoke to her ahead of the show, I said, I want to have a feeling for what you do. So she was kind enough to call me, and she did what she does for me. And now, PK, you know, I have been very upset about my car situation, right?
Yes,
That's
you
gone
have.
on for years.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, I've been driving a 2008 Honda Element, and my husband's so thrilled it's lasted so long, he just doesn't want to replace it. But I want to replace it. So, anyways, here's what happened. Kerri did an alignment for me. Now, I wasn't even thinking about the car because to me that had become a lost cause, right? So she does her alignment. Yesterday I go out to do errands. It's pouring rain here. It's freezing cold here. And there is no heat in the Honda Element. Now, I can't even put into words how upset I was. I was freezing. And I had to go out and do these errands, get soaked, come back in the car, couldn't get warm. Oh, man, I was mad. Came home. I was furious, right? So I said what I said. I'm not going to repeat it on the air.
Yeah, we'll get bleak.
I walked down the hall. I should say I stomped down the hall. The next thing I hear is my husband's on the phone with a Toyota dealer. I'm like, what? So guess what? We're replacing the Honda Element.
Hooray!
I know that it came from Kerri. I got to tell you. You know, PK, this has been years, right? We've been back and forth on this. You know what's been going on.
I thought we were going to
bronze
it.
You know that this is a friggin' miracle. And I give Kerri credit because this was not moving off the dial. I'll tell you, it wasn't moving until Kerri did what she does. So, no further jibber-jabbering from me. We got to bring Kerri on the show. Kerri Kannan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Patricia and PK, for having me here. I'm so excited about the show tonight. I'm really excited.
Well, we're thrilled to have you here. You just heard my story, and I know you've heard these stories before.
Mhm. So that's how it works. It's like, yeah, it's just I do a consciousness alignment and I get out of the way. Am I? You have me back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Sorry. My Skype apparently is freaking out too.
Everything's a little crazy. I dropped off. I tried 3 different times to get back in.
You there?
I'm here.
I keep
now
getting
got it
kicked
on
out.
Skype and on my phone.
I don't know what's going on.
Is anybody else there?
I don't know. I can't. Patricia's not here.
Oh, everybody got dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard the click and it dropped. And I cut 3 different times to come back in, and I kept hearing the click and then it dropped. So I don't know what it's doing.
I called both of them on Skype, which Skype seems to be working now, and I'm on my cell phone now as well. So I'm talking on my cell phone.
Yeah, both of us are. This is really strange. Well, of course, the weather in the world's crazy, so who knows what's been blown down or out.
Right. Well, should I just continue with my story?
Well, I'm hoping that our clients, our people online can hear us. Let's go for it.
Okay.
So,
you guys, I'm back. All
okay.
Right. Yeah, we all got dropped off. I'm called in on 2 different lines now, so just in case. I have Skype and I'm talking from my cell phone right now. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah, I had to switch over too. I don't know. That's the first time that's ever happened. I think the energy got so intense it just shut everything down.
Yep.
Well,
oh my gosh.
Also,
All right, everybody.
We have to remember
we're back.
that what's going on. We've got all these storms going on like crazy, and we've had more tornadoes and things going down. So God knows what's out there or not out there.
Yeah, I know.
That's true.
So that's the way it
Kerri,
works, though. It just stuff just lands in people's laps. Yes. And that's what happened. And I'll tell you what, Kerri, which was so amazing. I didn't even, like I said, I wasn't even thinking about the car when you did the alignment. Yet it has been a real big pain in my neck for a long time. So the fact that this
wasn't
happened,
that high.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this really works. So I want to tell everybody personally, this really works. When Kerri says that she can teach you how to do this, she's not kidding. So I know we have a lot to cover tonight. And Kerri, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into it, and then maybe we can go into one of your Divine Authority creations for the audience and let them have the same experience. It's so powerful.
Absolutely. So it all started with self-love, but I'm not going to go into that story right now because that's kind of what stuff that got me first on my spiritual path. But in about 2004, I went on a spiritual, really intense spiritual week at Unity Village. And so when I say intense spiritual week, I was taking, these are like college classes. So I was taking
4 classes a day, 5 days a week, and each class is 2 hours. And for one of the classes, I had an instructor. Her name is Eliza, and in the Unity world, a lot of people know who she is. But she taught my 2 afternoon classes, and one was the Old Testament, and the other one was Jesus' teachings. Now, I want to make it clear right now, this is not a Christian thing. That just is my path that I, have walked and kind of went away from for a long time, and then I went back to it because Unity sort of conforms to my way of thinking. But, I have people from all different religions and things saying that it has really helped them. So just want to make that clear right now.
Okay.
When I was doing – so on Monday and Tuesday so on Monday, this instructor did not wear a splint on her hand. And on Tuesday and Wednesday, she did. And on Wednesday, we were going through Jesus' miracles in this Jesus Teachings class. And during the first hour of the class, we were reading miracle after miracle after miracle, and we were going through them. And the energy in that room was so high that I knew that I or anyone else could do anything that he did, anything. So after the first hour, I found myself a little, quiet spot, and I said, is there anything that I can do? I asked, is there anything that I can do to heal her hand or to help heal her hand? And I got a yes. And I was like, okay, what do I have to do? And I got just no. And I was like, really? Just no? And I got just no. I was like, okay. So I went back in the room. I looked her in the eye. I held her hand, and I said, Eliza, I don't know how, but I just know that your hand is healed. And then somebody else walked in the room and said, hey, Eliza, your hand is healed already. And, which, whatever. So then the next day she came in, and somebody said to her, hey, what happened? Where's your splint? What's going on with your hand? She said, I woke up today, and my hand felt better than it had since before the accident. And I didn't need to wear it. And I was like, that's very interesting. So about a year later, she was sending out little, Jesus joke emails and things like that. And I was like, hey, do you remember when I told you that your hand is healed? And, then the next day you came in and you said that it was. And she was like, yeah. And I said, so how is that? What's going on with that? And she said, I totally forgot about that. She said, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's completely fine. So I was like, and that was my touchstone. So
Beautiful.
Then for the next 10 years, I was trying to get back to that place of that consciousness that I was holding when I did that. And I I was I'm a triple Capricorn. So I start at the bottom of the ocean. I just keep trudging up that mountain. And so my spirituality, has been my singular focus. So then in 2014, and, God bless him, my ex-husband has been my greatest teacher. I mean, he has put me through so much hell. He's like a master teacher.
Oh, you are kind. And, you are a kind lady.
Well, because I am where I am now. I'll tell you, not long ago, I wouldn't be I would say he was a master something else. But I was at a point in 2014 where he had just wrangled primary custody away from me, and I had gone through custody battles, and that one that in 2014 was not the last one. And I had gone through multiple custody battles. He did everything that he could to sort of try and extract me from my children and really destroy me in any way that he could, financially, emotionally, and all of that. And he had just extracted my kids from me. And so then therefore I was not going to be getting any support from him. I also was trying to get my business off the ground. What I was doing on the side, I was doing website design, and I was being paid $1,200 for these beautiful $5,000 websites. And they would take me a month to do. And I was like, listen, I need to be paid more for these websites, or I need to do less elaborate websites. And the guy who I was doing these sites for was like, well, I could just go to India and have somebody do it. I'm doing you a favor. So I saw that I had this weird muckiness around men and control with money. And I saw the pattern, and I could tell that it was from my childhood. And I was like, ooh, I see this pattern. I want it gone. So I called Silent Unity, and I said, I see this pattern. I want it gone, and I want it replaced with something better. And so they did a prayer for me, and within 10 minutes I came across someone else's work that's very similar to what I do right now. And within 10 minutes of listening to this, I felt a sense of peace and serenity. And I fired my client. I knew that no money was coming in from my ex, and I only had one more job that I was doing, which was audio editing, and that was only bringing in $250 a month. However, not having any income coming in, and I was really, at that point, I was living on the edge. It wasn't like I could, afford really anything beyond, like, hand to mouth. And and I was doing my podcast at the time called World Awakened Talk Radio, and one of those guys that I had done the audio editing for, I was like, wow, this guy's really awesome. And so I wanted him on my program. And I called, I got in touch with him, and he wanted to do a pre-interview. He wanted to do a pre-interview. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. And at the time, so she did that thing, and I listened to that audio recording, and I was in the state of, complete serenity after that. So he wanted to do this pre-interview interview, and it was like 3 weeks away. And so for like 2.5 weeks, I don't know where any money is going to come from, but I'm sitting on my couch, literally, not looking for a job. I'm just like, I was in a point of complete surrender, sitting on my couch meditating, asking the universe, is there anything that I can do now to bring in some financial abundance or whatever? And I kept getting, just wait. And I would wait like 5 minutes, I was like, is there anything I can do now to bring in some financial abundance? So I got just wait. So for like 2.5 weeks, I get just wait. And I did. And it's not that I was being impatient. I just didn't want to miss out on an opportunity because I was in that state of serenity and deep peace. So it came to the point where we had our pre-interview, and I spoke to this guy, and he was like, I told him how I found him, and he said, how many people do you know like that woman who you did audio editing for, who I interviewed with? And I was like, I don't know, hundreds, those are my people. And he was like, if you can connect me with people like that, I will pay you $500 a pop. And I was like, really? Wow. I was like, how many do you want? Yeah, exactly. And I was like, how many do you want? And he said, as many as you can get. So I was able to get him about 10 a week at $500 a pop. So I will let the listeners do the math. And I went from $250 a month to that. So I was like, wow, this stuff really works. And so the woman who had done, what I now call consciousness alignment, I was obsessed. I was like, who is she? Where is she? How can I find more? And at that time I could pay the $1,000 an hour that she was charging for private sessions, and I was trying to get in touch with her, and I couldn't. And so I started listening to all of her interviews, and she started to piss me off because she said in all of her interviews, that she was the only one with the gift. Nobody else could do it. And I was like, well, that is the biggest load of crap I've ever heard, because I healed a hand. I knew that I had been looking to get to this point for the last 10 years, and I knew that I could do it. And so from that perspective, knowing that I could do it, and then just seeing, knowing that somebody else had done it, like it took me 10 years to get back to that consciousness where I could hold it and anchor it into my system. But I was working the whole time on getting back to that point. And so that gave me the peace that I needed. And so I decided, I made an empowered decision that I was going to claim that, and I did. I claimed it. And coming from where I was, because I had a spiritual teacher in a spiritual community that really helped me with my spiritual process for years, like in between there and through that. So I was very grounded in my understanding of the self, which is far different than most people. But so I claimed it, and I started working with it, and I started asking for guinea pigs, and my friends were like, ooh, pick me. And so I started doing it, and people would report back miraculous results. And so would you like me to go into the story about one of those, or do you want to do a commercial break? Because I can roll right into that.
Let's hear about some people that have had this miracle happen from your consciousness alignment. Tell us more about people that have had it.
Yeah, absolutely. So so I was writing a book at the time, and it's called Embraced by the Divine, The Emerging Woman's Gateway to Power, Passion, and Purpose, and that's a collaborative book. And the collaborating author, Michelle, asked me to do a consciousness alignment for her. And she was having some, there were some family things going on with her daughter, and then she wanted for our book to be a bestseller. And so she told me about what was going on with her daughter, and really it was just teenage stuff. So her daughter had graduated from high school, and she loved to shop. And so she told her, she was like, listen, I can't support your lifestyle. You need to either get a job or go on the dole, welfare. And, being a teenager, she decided to go on welfare. And so now she could afford the things that she wanted. Yeah. She could afford what she wanted. She was given that choice. But, she wasn't really contributing to the household in any way, so she was still driving her mother crazy. So I said to her, I was like, well, it sounds like, and I've known her for a while. I've known Michelle for a while. And I said, well, it sounds like you guys have a really good relationship, but the kid just needs to get a job. She needs to find some meaningful work. She needs to, put her time to use and figure out who she is. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to align her with no particular effort on her part. That's very important, and you notice that with your car as well. No particular effort on her part. And we are going to align her to find her dream job. Dream job, 18-year-old, no particular effort on her part. And then she's going to feel so good about herself that that's going to spill over into her relationship with you, and then your relationship is going to be healed. How does that sound? And she was like, wow, that sounds great to me. And I was like, okay, so that's what we're going to do. And then with the other one, she wanted our book to be a bestseller. And I was like, well, that's nice, but how about a #1 international bestseller? And she was like, can we do that? I was like, we can ask. So that's what I did. I aligned it for a #1 international bestseller. So a couple weeks later, I was talking to her, and she said, oh, I have to tell you what happened with my daughter. So she was in her favorite boutique, spending her check, and the shop owner approached her and asked her if she would be willing to model for their internet and print presence. She would get paid.
Oh, my God.
She would get a discount, and she would be able to start a modeling portfolio if she wanted to do that. So her daughter was like over the moon, ecstatic, happy. And so she dream job, no effort on her part. And then the other one, it took a little bit longer. Yeah, it's awesome. The other one, it took a little bit longer. And but then on American Thanksgiving 2015, our book went to #1 in the United States, Canada, Australia, the UK, and the Netherlands.
Oh, fabulous.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
congratulations. That is amazing.
Thank you.
That is absolutely amazing. And you're saying that this happens all the time.
Yeah.
This
but
is
that's
not just
source.
here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. All the time. Whenever I specifically ask, we get specific results or something better. So, and when I ask, I try not to confine the universe, like with asking for her daughter's dream job. Just dream job, not dream job doing this or dream job doing that. Just dream job, So it allows the universe to kind of go to work and do what it needs to do to make that reality or that potentiality become a reality. So, yeah, it's awesome.
Now, Kerri,
it's freaking awesome.
It is, and it's so, listen, PK, we've had a ton of people on this show that claim to have ways to help us to create our own reality. That's the big thing. So,
right.
This, Kerri, is obviously different because you're actually getting almost immediate results and consistently. Consistently. That's the other thing. So how is this happening? How is your method different from other people's methods that fail for people and just frustrate people?
Most law of attraction work. So this is, just to make it clear, this is not law of attraction work. Okay. So this is different.
Yes.
law of attraction work says that if I, from my personality perspective, try and shift my mindset to something, I will attract that thing that I want in my life. And when you're trying to attract something, you immediately, from the very get-go, are telling the universe, I perceive this thing as separate from myself, and I want to attract it to myself. When with the spiritual training that I had with my spiritual teacher and different spiritual groups, like for the last, 20 years, I have a different perspective. So my perspective is that I do not live a life. Life lives me. And consciousness, which lives in, through, and as everything. It is every word. It is every thought. It is every rock. It is every person. It is every emotion. It is every potentiality that lives me. And I am that. I am not this body, this personality. So I don't work from the personality perspective. So what my program is about when I teach people how to do this themselves is I help them train their perspective, not mindset, their perspective to anchor that way of perceiving themselves. And it takes work. It takes diligence, because here we are, we're living in this world, and everything is seen as separate from us, and everything that we see, everything that we hear, it's seen and perceived as separate from us. So, I honestly, I give away the steps. I give that away, and that's what is in your link, like the mechanics of it. But the perspective is what the difference is between that and everything else that is taught out there, including the greats. Like the people that tell you this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Like the Wayne Dyers and the Anthony Robbins and the Esther Hicks of the world. They tell you this is what you need to do, but they don't show you. They don't do it for you. And from that perspective of I am all of everything, because conscious lives through me, I am also you. And I am also the listener. And I am also that wad of cash that they want to have, that they want to have in their wallet or in their bank account. I am also their lover. I am also, health and well-being. And so when you can allow yourself to be in that perceptual awareness or that perspective, anything is possible, because you are everything. And the same way that you have command over the words that you say and over your body, then when you become that thing that is all of everything, you also have control over that.
That is a very different perspective for sure, and I like it. I think it makes total sense to me, everything that you're discussing. I think to get there, it takes work. You're right. It helps. I just want to tell everybody that if you want to hear some more of these principles from Kerri directly after the show tonight, I'm going to be reposting the link that gives all of you access to several videos, several consciousness alignments, and Kerri's course that she is teaching to allow you to learn to do what she does. So all of that's going to be on our Facebook page after the show. And the consciousness alignments that you offer for free on that video series, they're great, because I've listened to them multiple times. They're all terrific.
Thank
really
you.
powerful.
Very good. Very good indeed.
Thank you.
Yes. So now, in order to train somebody to be able to do this, you got to break them out of their personality. That's no easy feat. But you are offering a course. Tell us something about the course so that people can get familiar with this and what they would learn if they were to sign up for you.
Okay, so the program that I'm teaching is a 12-week program. And actually, if you wanted to be engaged with the community after that, you can certainly do that, because we have Facebook groups and things like that. And honestly, I have people, and most of the people who are listening to your show are into this in some way and have probably done a lot of personal development stuff through their lives anyway. So it's not like this is the first time that they've ever heard, something about spirituality or, whatever. The people that have taken my course, actually, because of the exercises that I give them in the modules, when people actually do the exercises and participate in the group and participate in the peer calls and all of that, they actually start being able to do this within that 12 weeks. And certainly the more you practice, the mindset and, you bounce questions off and things like that, certainly the more you practice after the program is over, you'll be able to, anchor it into your energy even more. But that 12 weeks, believe it or not, is actually enough to start getting you going. So what I offer in the program is, first of all, people will learn how to align with their higher selves, and then they can use this as a practical tool in their own lives. And, I have people that just, start their day like this and, help friends and neighbors and whatever. You will learn how to experience yourself in an expanded way, which will empower you to speak with confidence and authority over the material world. And that's the promise, right? That's the promise. And we're like, okay,
yeah.
And that's honestly what got me there. So, I was like, okay, if I am divinity and divinity lives through me, then why can't I snap my fingers and have something happen? What the hell, So,
right, I
like,
agree.
Well, if that's me, then show me, show me the money kind of thing,
Right.
And you'll also have an opportunity to experience one-on-one calls with me that are designed to facilitate easy transmutation and transformation of whatever current challenges you're dealing with, because I do consciousness alignments all the time. People will also, they'll be able to perform consciousness alignments for themselves and others, and will be given the opportunity to practice. And honestly, in this program, like, there are some people like, this is weird stuff. It's like way outside of the box. And in that sort of protected environment of being in this group of other people who are learning how to do it, that's the time to, like, try it and, be unsure of yourself and feel a little bit insecure. But, I actually push people to do it. I'll call on people if I know that they're trying to, sit back and not participate. I'll actually call on people. So if you participate in the program, expect that you're going to learn this and that you're going to be able to use it. And, it's unlike anything else that people even imagine as a possibility. And the people who participate, they're on, other people talk about, oh, this is the leading edge of thought that their work is. This is the leading edge of thought. I don't know of anybody else who knows how to teach this and knows how to teach the perspective. And, there's a 12-month, there's a 12-week program. We have video modules, we have group sessions, we have private coaching, we have alignments in every single class, we have peer calls, we have where people can develop their own script, and, we also have that private Facebook group. So that's the program that I'm offering.
So you're really offering an immersion in a lot of ways, so people to really just into the whole system and use it and work it, which is great. So I encourage everybody who's interested to follow the link that we're going to post and make sure that you schedule a call with Kerri to talk with her about this class, because I think it's a great opportunity for all of our listeners to participate and learn something that really works for a change, that will give them a way to help themselves, their family members, their friends. Now, a question for you, Kerri, is this. Do you find that this work is more powerful when you do it with somebody else?
Yes, because
or,
I'm attached to
you know what
my
I'm
story.
talking about. It's like
Yeah.
when they say two or more gathered, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Do you find that, having that energy double, that two people working to create one thing makes it happen faster, better?
Well, when I'm doing it for someone else, that's a good point. And, I haven't actually thought of that before. But when I'm doing it for someone else, I find that the results are better than with myself. Although with myself, like I brought in my marketing manager exactly the way that I wanted her. I brought in a really super close friend exactly the way that I wanted him. And, I brought in like all these different things exactly the way that I wanted them. But I'm attached to my own stuff. So I think it's more to do with the attachment. However, if somebody tells me, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, I'm hoping for this, I'm hoping for that, I don't have any judgment, over whether something is a possibility or not, because my perspective is that if it's an idea in consciousness, it's already a possibility. So what I do is I just call it in, and I get out of the way for the people that I'm working with. So, since I'm not attached to their stuff, I have no judgment. They say, I want a windfall tomorrow. I'm like, all right, I'm on board with that. Let's do it. So that's where I think that it happens for me. I see it happening.
Yeah, there's absolutely no obstruction in your consciousness because you see all possibilities. So when somebody presents you with something they want, you just see a clear path. And that is a big difference, I think. That's a huge difference right there.
Yeah, and that's because, from my perspective, I am the field of infinite potentiality or infinite possibilities. That field is me. That field is you. And if it's an idea that you can grab out of the air, that's a possibility. So why not?
I love this. PK, don't you love this? It's wonderful.
I was sitting here amazed because it sounds so simplistic and yet it's so perfect.
It is.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's really perfect. Yeah, now let me ask you this. I'll tell you what. How about if we take a short commercial break and come back and you an example, an experience of what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on board.
Great.
Okay, we're going to take a very short commercial break, everybody, and we will come back with Kerri giving all of you a free consciousness alignment. You're going to have your own experience of it in just a few minutes. So stay tuned, everybody, and we will be right back. You're listening to Supernatural Girls Radio.
Pure essential oils, specialized minerals, and a revolutionary anti-aging technology. Astridian combines the best of all scientifically proven ingredients in easy-to-use creams, lotions, and concentrated serums. Astridian's advanced line of products take your skin to a new level of being healthy and beautiful. We offer a variety of collections that address all your skin concerns. The Essential Anti-Aging Series treats and moisturizes your skin for a long-lasting, younger look. The Multivitamin Series promotes healthy skin with high-quality vitamins and minerals. The Sports Series restores skin from cellular damage and stress. Astridian also offers a revitalizing solution for hair and a professional series for doctors and medical spas. Visit astridian.love today and begin your new journey to healthy, beautiful, youthful skin. Astridian, beyond your expectations.
Are you ready for a new experience of freedom and powerful connection? Would you like a positive, effortless change in your life? Then come to CosmicFusion.com, where we offer the most advanced energy clearing and expansion techniques in the world, with a quantum vortex energy to activate your divine blueprint and life's purpose. When your soul leads the way with cosmic fusion and quantum vortex energy, you can break clear of past difficulties and blocks with the power of the source. With cosmic fusion, the source energy does the work for you. It's easy and effortless. Listen to our free meditation right from our Cosmic Fusion website, the Cosmic Code Meditation. Sign up for one of our interactive webinars today. Come to Cosmic Fusion, www.KOSMICfusion.com, to experience an effortless awakening and transformation. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for a new experience of living in the fifth dimensional magic and powerful connection? Then visit CosmicFusion.com today. CosmicFusion.com.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. I am here with PK and our amazing guest tonight. Kerri Kannan is with us. We are talking about divine authority, how to create from that place. And Kerri, you're going to do a demonstration. You're actually going to gift our entire audience with a consciousness alignment. So what do we need to do?
So in order to receive a consciousness alignment, you need to do two things. One is make sure that you're not distracted. So if you have toddlers that need your attention, or if you have the TV on, or if you're washing the dishes or whatever, wait until later. Or, I mean, you can let it play in the background, but certainly wait until later to actually listen to it, because for a couple of reasons. And certainly if you're driving, turn it off now and listen to it later, or operating machinery. But so what's going to happen is a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people will experience tingling sensations, heat or cold. They'll start frying, all different, things. Like it wreaks havoc on your not wreak havoc, but it will definitely impact your energy system. So because the greater part of you is going to go immediately to work on doing the thing that I ask. And it's going to rewire you, to be in harmony with the thing that I ask. The second thing that you want to do, so first thing is you want to listen intently, okay? So that's number one. Number two is you want to say yes to yourself as I'm doing this. And the reason you say that is because as I'm speaking, you just want to make sure that you're open to receiving. And the best way to know that you're open to receiving is just to say yes. So you want to make sure that you are receiving this. And certainly if you don't want it, turn it off, So that's how you can receive it. And then when I'm done, I will ask, probably when I'm done with all of them, I'll just do a quick one for grounding, because a lot of people are like, holy mackerel, I can't even stand up right now. I need a wall to lean on. So I'll do one for grounding as well, to pull everybody back into their body so they can go on and function in their day. So what would you like for me to work with, my dear?
Oh, gosh. Let's see. Well, I know our audience does want to be aligned with higher consciousness. They want good health. They want financial prosperity. So any of the above or anything else you can think of. Our audience is very accepting of any gift you want to give tonight.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do then is I'll just do kind of an overall, so I'll do aligned with higher consciousness, joyful fulfillment, and prosperity, like affluence, like a flow, affluence, and health and well-being. So I'll just sort of do they'll be specific while I'm saying it, but I'll just kind of try and cover as many bases as possible. How much time do I have?
Oh, we have another 35 minutes.
Oh, okay, great. So,
you have plenty of time, and then as soon as you're done, we will have more questions for you, I'm sure. But I do want everybody to have this wonderful experience live with you tonight. And for those of you listening to the podcast after the live show, you will still get a great result. I know this is energy; it still works. Even if you're listening to the podcast. Yes.
All you need to do, you can listen to a recording. In fact, I've had some people tell me tremendous results as a result of listening to the recording. So it doesn't matter. Live or recording doesn't matter. So it's all the same thing.
Right.
It's all the same consciousness. It all comes from the same place. And the beauty of this stuff is that, as you know, because of your own experience, you don't have to effort. Whatever I'm asking for, you're just going to be aligned with it. It's going to land in your lap. You're not going to have to effort. You just go on with your life, and you feel inspired to do the things that you do, and just all of a sudden, boom, it shows up. So that's what's great, because it doesn't work from the personality perspective. So the personality is kind of taken right out of it. So.
All right. We're ready. We're all excited.
All right. I'm just going to ground myself. Thank you, divine consciousness that lives in, through, and as me, and is both the person that speaks and is the person that hears, and is this very moment of now. Thank you for aligning this person who is hearing my voice now, with joyful fulfillment in their lives now, across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Thank you for releasing them from anything in the way of that, any struggles that they've been having, any stories that they have, any attachments to their stories that they have now, across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Thank you for releasing them from that, down their mother's side of the family and their father's side of the family, going back 10,000 generations, now, across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And thank you for aligning every vibrating molecule, every spinning atom, every strand of DNA. Thank you for rewiring the neural pathways and neural receptors to experience this joyful fulfillment in their lives and be aligned with their higher self, and know that the consciousness that lives through them is the consciousness that lives through everything. So whatever they want is already theirs. It is already theirs, and all they need to do is say yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for aligning this person now with something that they have desired that is unique to them, that will create joyful fulfillment in their lives. That they know this is their gift from the universe for them now, across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And thank you for creating within this person a new feeling of financial prosperity, that they are affluent, they are the flow of life, prosperity in all ways, prosperity in love, prosperity in family, prosperity in health and well-being. Thank you for creating that abundance and prosperity and joyful fulfillment in their lives in these ways as well. So thank you for aligning them now across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Every vibrating molecule, every spinning atom, every strand of DNA. Thank you for aligning their physical body and their etheric body with this new joyful fulfillment in all of these different areas of their lives. And thank you for releasing them down their mother's side of the family and their father's side of the family, anything in the way of that. And thank you for creating a new consciousness in this person, and so that they experience this joyful fulfillment in all of these different areas of their lives, whether it's romance, whether it's finance, whether it's health and well-being, whether it's just a spiritual connection. Thank you for aligning this person now across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And thank you for gifting this person with something that is unique to them, that allows them something that they've been working towards, or something that they've been desiring, or something that they've wanted. Thank you for releasing them from the want. Thank you for releasing them from the sense of separation and aligning them now with that sense of unity with that. And thank you for removing any obstacles that are in the way, and thank you for removing that now across all time, space, dimension, and reality, so that they can become one with that, so they can experience that in their lives. And thank you for recontextualizing their experience so that they have this thing, and they know that they are fully connected. They are fully connected because they are not only connected, they are that thing. They are that thing now across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And thank you for aligning their future generations of this person, taking that 10,000 generations or more, now and forevermore, through their entire family lineage, and allowing them to experience this as well. Thank you for passing down these thoughts and this DNA and these vibratory thoughts and this energy to their future generations. Thank you, it is already done. Thank you, it is already done now across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Thank you, it is already done. And thank you for healing any relationships that these people, this person who is listening to me now, would like to have healed. Thank you for healing that across all time, space, dimension, and reality. Relationships that they've been working on trying to heal. Thank you for releasing any conflict that they have had. So thank you for releasing that now across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And thank you for creating a new consciousness within that relationship so that the love can be seen and the love can be experienced. Thank you, it is already done. Thank you, it is already done now across all time, space, dimension, and reality, going down the mother's side of the family and the father's side of the family. Thank you for deleting and uncreating and transmuting any stories, any attachments, any circumstances that have contributed to that. Thank you, it is already done. Thank you, it is already done now in this person's physical body and their etheric body, and thank you for rewiring their neural pathways and neural receptors so that they can let that go and be at ease and release expectations of how life and the people in their lives and the circumstances in their lives show up, so that great things are coming in now. Great things are coming in now, and they can experience that. Thank you, it's already done. Thank you, it's already done now. And thank you for imprinting this person 1,000 times now with this whole entire consciousness alignment, 1,000 times now and 1,000 times every day until it is complete, and this person is experiencing joyful fulfillment in every day of their life. And life seems easy, and they know that they are the conscious creator that they were born to be and that they are. And they are now starting to experience, and they are now starting to know, and they are now starting to see. So thank you for opening the eyes of this person, the eyes and ears and the consciousness of this person to know the power of their being now across all time, space, dimension, and reality. And so it is. Okay, take a deep breath and push it all out. And take another deep breath and push it all out. Okay, so I figure based on that, if people have something specific they want, they can ask. How's that?
Yeah, you covered everything, my dear. My goodness, and that was so powerful. I was just, and I have all these texts coming in. That what they're saying is, I was vibrating the whole time. I saw lights in front of me the whole time. So yes, it's all of these things that I'm seeing over and over again, and I certainly felt it. And PK, what about you?
Oh, definitely so. I'm thinking to myself, I just know we're going to be bombarded with phone calls because this was quite fascinating, and you just felt the power. Very good.
It's great, and and not only that, but in learning this method, I think I know a lot of people in our audience have really big hearts. They like to help other people, not just themselves, but they like to help others. And so this really gives you that technique, the ability, whatever you want to call it, to be able to help other people as well, which is very thrilling. So there's so much to this that people can do with this for themselves, and it certainly takes you beyond that place of frustration where things aren't happening with these old systems that don't do it. If there is a matrix, which I believe there is, it's our own personality circuit board. This gets you out of it. This takes you out of that terrible circuit board that runs us crazy, like on a hamster wheel. It brings us out of that completely into all possibilities. And you really embody that, Kerri. You really do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's an amazing gift. Yeah, it's an amazing gift. My God, it's incredible. And as you know, I watched before when you did this, and I watched this time. And the energy around you is so powerful. There's no question that you are calling in source energy, and it's very, very powerful, and it responds to you. How you get it to respond to you is what you'll be teaching in that class, and that is very valuable information, right? Because we can all, think that we're talking to source, but we don't have that connection that you have. We do maybe, but we haven't opened our eyes to it yet. So in your course, you'll be awakening that within everybody, and that's wonderful what you're doing. And you really came out of very difficult circumstances. You talk about the divorce and your husband being so nasty and your children being taken away in custody battles. And, of course, we all know the expense of attorney fees when you're trying to fight those battles and survive. So you really came from some very challenging things in life. And look at you now. This is what you're saying can happen for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like, so, Patricia, the family that I grew up in, I never wanted for anything. I grew up in an upper middle class family. I'm not even sure if that even exists anymore. But I grew up in an upper middle class family. My dad owned a steakhouse, and we were multi-generational. He married a woman. After my dad and mom got divorced, and then he married a woman who was a flight attendant for TWA. And so, when there was no food in the house, and she had a lake. We lived on a lake. So we went water skiing every day during the summer. His restaurant was down the road from the local ski area, so we went, snow skiing every winter. When there was no food in the house, we went and we had steak. And, for vacations, it was cheaper for us to fly to Europe than it was for us to drive to Florida. So, I grew up in a very privileged, not that we had, tons and tons of money, but we had the means to do the things
lots of
that tons of money buys. Yeah.
Right.
So I didn't
How
grow
wonderful.
up, in poverty. I didn't grow up in, with, financial struggles at all. I didn't even know what that was. And the struggles that I've gone through, that my ex-husband sort of helped facilitate, brought me to a place where I could actually have compassion, for other people who are going through the same thing. Because if you don't know what it is, you can't identify with somebody who's going through that kind of stuff. So, thank God I'm on the other side of it, because I would not wish it on anybody. But it did teach me, it did teach me. And it forced me into myself. It forced me to go in, and it forced me to talk to my spiritual teacher every single day for 7 years, for hours. And it forced me to do those things and to understand, that I was greater than that. And, so, it was, anyway, the struggles that I went through, I feel like I had to in order to gain perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that
my gosh. It really, I think you had a perfect set of circumstances from your early life on through to allow you to have this experience and connect in this manner. But there's no question that you wield a lot of power with this, and I'm just so happy that you shared it with us, with PK and myself and our incredible audience, because this is something we all need right now. I think we're done being frustrated. We're done feeling like, we don't need to do one more technique that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all very rudimentary, the things that have been presented in the past about the secret and attracting what you want. You have to feel it. You got to think it. And, it just, people were getting really upset because they were unable to get the same results that Oprah talked about. Well, guess what? You're not Oprah, so you're not going to get those results. But this is different. This is something that allows everybody to experience this connection of divine authority. And I like that term, divine authority. I think that's a great term.
Thank you.
Yes, it is. I think it's fascinating.
And, part of the program, too, is I do one of these for every class. Or multiples in every class, or I have other people do them. And, part of that is getting rid of the muck, too. So, as I'm helping people to align with that perspective, I'm actually asking the universe to align them with that perspective as well. So it's almost like a crash course in, unity consciousness. So I feel like that's a good, that's part of the reason that my students have been able to do this so quickly and to develop that that perspective, because while they're doing their lessons, and while they're diligently working on, seeing things from sort of a different lens, I am there, constantly, doing consciousness alignments to get them into alignment with that different way of seeing themselves. So, it kind of all works together.
It really does. Now, here's a question that just came in from somebody. She's asking, if I take your course, is this something that I can use in a practice to charge people for a session? Is that something people can do?
You can use it. Yes, you can use it to in your sessions. You can use it in conjunction with your work. You just can't teach it. So that's kind of my job. But yes, you can absolutely use it. You can do this, and in fact, we encourage that. I encourage that. And at the end of the program, actually, I'm glad. Thank you so much for asking and mentioning that, because we are actually, for those who participate in the program, you'll actually get a certificate, and there'll be a thing on my website, and we're working on putting that together right now, where you become a consciousness alignment practitioner with my name on it, and from me, because I'm sure that it won't take long for a lot of copycats to come out, and people are going to want to know that they're dealing with the real deal. So you'll actually get that and a link to your site or wherever you want that to be. You'll get a little logo, and we will have a listing on our site of people who have gone through the program and have gone through the measures to qualify as a practitioner. So thank you for asking that. Yes.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I want everybody to have the information. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to be able to work with you and be one of the first students going through this particular class. So I encourage everybody who's interested to have that personal call with you to see if it's right for them and what the other details are about the course. But I mean, I can't tell you how surprised I was to know about the car. I mean, that's PK. You know, right? Do you not? What car is in such a pain? And I mean, I've talked to PK about it. Yeah, and it's just been an ongoing battle. But to have this all of a sudden happen, I have to give credit to your work because that's the only thing different. The only thing.
That is for sure.
Yeah, PK, personally. You've heard my griping. So now, what about? Yeah, I did. And with Kerri's help, it's coming my way. Yay! But let me ask you another question, Kerri, about things. You heard us talking at the beginning of the show. We were talking about one of our favorite topics, which is disclosure or lack thereof about UFOs. And what if we were to put energy together as conscious creators to have all this information come out? What do you think would happen? It's pretty powerful stuff. So
I think the world would be a much better place because, instead of griping about like our politicians and, things like that, we would feel empowered to actually do something, to collectively work on that together. And I'm so glad you asked that too because some of my students for the, I guess we can call it a final exam. They did consciousness alignments, and one was for like a world peace kind of thing, and it was so beautiful. And it's, what's really great about this? Everybody has their own style, and that's what I kind of encourage. I encourage people to sort of develop their own style. And there were two. I can't remember right now what the second one was that but two of those that came out of that were from some of my students and in this last program. And they were just so beautiful. But I do believe that, if people knew how powerful they are and people anchored that into their system and they lived like that, holy mackerel, like that guy that you can't stand who's a jerk to you at work or, whatever, you'll see him as an aspect of you. And then from that, him being you can then go in and shift your consciousness around that. And then you'd see him shift. Mm-hmm. And, so I have, there's a woman that I work with who helps me. She does my she helps me with this business. And she's Muslim. And she said to me, Kerri, I never imagined that working with you would make me a better Muslim. Because like this kind of work, it's kind of like, law of attraction stuff. It's like, not religious and all of that, but it really calls in the divine creator, which is universal. It's universal across the board. And, she said that.
And it can help so you're saying it can help universal consciousness as well. And the other thing I'm thinking about, here at Supernatural Girls, we're supporters of the Sheldrake Wildlife Trust for orphaned baby elephants. And we support their work. We donate to them. We try to raise consciousness about this issue. But if we were to get together with your technique that you're so generously sharing with us tonight, I mean, I'm thinking along those lines. Again, members of our audience, most of them, if not all of them, are animal lovers. And we want to see these animals protected. We want to see them safe. We want to see them cared for if they need to be cared for, if they can't be in the wild anymore. So this technique can also work for that too, right?
Absolutely, because it's all consciousness. And the thing is, most people don't work at a higher level. Everybody's working at a personality level, doing 10,000 affirmations and, saying I am statements instead of just going to the source and being like, So, you can do anything in this material world that you would like to see shifted, you can shift. As long as you can see it in your mind and you perceive it as a potentiality, it's already a possibility. You just need to call it in.
Yes.
And, if you want to call it in with a group of people, then so be it.
Now, you mentioned also in one of your videos that I watched something about if things come up. So certainly when you're doing this technique, you may also get in touch with some things that have been in your way. And you mentioned how you use the tapping technique, emotional freedom technique, to help get that out of the way. So is that something that you would still recommend to people to do?
Yeah, I mean, stuff in the way, so, especially the tapping works on a personal level. So, it's like I said previously, it's a lot easier to do it for somebody else than it is yourself. And when you're, working with yourself, sometimes it's hard to, we have our story, and tapping helps to get rid of the story. So, yeah, if there's stuff in the way, go ahead and use tapping. Get rid of that story and then call it in. It can be used with it can be used with whatever modality that you can imagine that it can be used with. Like if you perceive, this would be a good match for that, go ahead and use it, because that's what people do anyway. They're going to take this, they're going to use it however they want to use it, and, they're going to run with it. So, but I have found that tapping helps to get rid of, personal things. Again, when it's somebody else that you're doing it for, you're not attached to their story. But if you're attached to your story and you're like, man, I've been working on this stupid issue for the last 10 years, then write down everything in that story and tap through it and then call it in. It's it's natural. It's not like it's like it's you have to do this one thing. But if it makes sense to you, go ahead and use it with whatever you want to use it with.
Well, that's great, because I know a lot of times people have the mistaken idea that if emotion comes up during things like this, they ignore it. They try to suppress it, and that's exactly the opposite of what you should be doing. You should be letting it up, out, goodbye. But if you sit on it, then and you use your energy to push it back down, then that's very, very close to making yourself depressed, which I wouldn't recommend.
Right.
So it's better to acknowledge it, let it out. If you use tapping or if you use Psych K, which is another way to rewire the brain and release things. I mean, any of those techniques I think are great that bring the body element into play. And like you said, get it out of the way and then call it. And I love that. I think that's a great, great idea. Now, how about your children? Do they use this? Do they know how to work this?
I think my kids still think that mom's a weirdo, but whatever. My one daughter,
don't all kids feel bad about their parents.
they my kids were born wise, but I'm like totally, I've sort of left the stage, as far as they can see right now, and I think as far as most people can see. But I'm okay with my special weirdness, and I'll ask my daughters, I'll be like, so you think your mom is really weird? She'll be like, no. You're just, you're a little different, but, they can see that it works, though. So, they're teenagers. They're both still teenagers. So, they see what mom does. They see that it's a little outside of the box, but they see the results. They see what's going on in our lives. So, I don't push it on them. I just allow them to hear me in my loud weirdness and, let them kind of make their own decisions. So.
Oh, that's cute. Now, also, your breakthrough came when you were able to help this woman heal with her broken arm. Was it a broken arm or sprained wrist or something? It was something painful.
She had gotten into a car accident, and it was apparently healed, but, it still was in pain. I guess it didn't heal correctly because she had gotten into a car accident 10 years prior. So she had this pain for 10 years. So, it healed that pain. And I don't know what exactly it was, but she would have to wear this splint every once in a while to alleviate the pain so that she wouldn't move her hand around so much. So.
Now, but how about some of your students and that have used this divine authority technique and alignment? Have they had success with helping people with healing?
Yes. So I have, I've got one who was dealing with a lot of health issues in her family, and with all her brother, her father, and her mother. And she told me that as she was using it with them, they all just started getting better. So that's a great thing to use, especially because she has aging, parents who are in their 70s and 80s, and you don't want to see your parents suffer. So she was experiencing that, as she was working with them. And, like I push my students, I'm like, all right, so this week I want you to work with one person. This week I want you to do it with 3 people, and then I ask for, results. And of course, people are going to do what they do. Like if they don't want to do it, they're not going to. But like this one particular student she was so diligent. She's like, I tell her all the time, she's my rock star. Because, she attended every program, she attended every call. She was always there for peer calls. She was always asking questions and all of that. But, she was able to actually heal her family. So, yeah. And then
so it works for that too. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then with another one, so she would use it to pave her day. And she would just, start it in the morning and pave her day with it. And she started the program and she was struggling financially. And then by the time the program was over, she was in demand. Like people wanted her at retreats and they, were asking her to do speaking engagements and to like do all these things. And the retreats were filling up. So, and they were booked. So, it was working for her as well. She used it differently. She used it kind of more with herself. And but then she'd pave her day, and then she would have a call just like this, like a podcast, and she was using it for the people in the podcast, and the people in the podcast were giving her feedback about what they felt as well. So I really try to empower my students to use it in whatever way feels most comfortable for them, because they're going to do that anyway. So my students have found that it really works, and and they get there quickly. Like within that 3 months, as long as they're not just ignoring the emails and like you pay for a class and you go to you attend 2 of them and then you drop out,
right.
A lot of people will do. As long as you
a lot of people do
participate, then you'll get results. So and
that's
you'll be able
tremendous.
To
now. What about, can we use this with our pets, our dogs and cats?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Good
okay.
idea.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of, I hadn't thought to ask people, are you using it with your pets? But absolutely. I mean, they're part of consciousness too. They're an aspect of consciousness that is in our lives. And the same way that you can bring in money, you can also heal your pet. So.
Why not? And the same thing with, I would think, any living thing, like our plants, the trees on our property, anything like that, because it is all being affected by our consciousness one way or another. So this is a way of bringing in a better and more positive consciousness. But it's just so amazing. Now, when you do this work, here's another question that I just saw in a text, but I think it's a good one. Do you also connect with or see any angelic beings when you're doing this?
I don't, and it's funny that that's asked, because people have told me like the whole, like one of the listeners said the whole room lit up. So people will tell me that like the room lights up with angels and ascended masters and things like that when I do it. But I just, it's funny because I experience my normal everyday life, and I don't experience those things. Although I do feel higher, like higher, freer. So it clears me out. It clears out, anything that I might have going on, and it makes me sort of high. We'll just call it a spiritual high when I do it. So, but I don't experience those kinds of effects. I don't experience like the whirling vortex a lot of people will experience, or they'll experience light, or they'll experience like one person said that it was like golden rings going around them, in sort of a whirling vortex, and she said that was like Jesus energy. But no, I don't get any of that stuff. So, but it's, it still works.
But you just do it. You're like Nike. Just do it.
yeah, pretty much.
Good idea.
Now, for people that also are writing in and they want to know, do you still offer private sessions of doing consciousness alignment for people?
I do. I haven't been doing those because I've been really focused on the program, because that's sort of been my priority. But I do, and I don't think that I actually have a place on my website that talks about that. So, we can put that on the website if you're interested in doing that. the private sessions are, actually they're probably a quarter of what the entire program is. So, you might, like, if you're thinking about doing this, you might want to just participate in the program. But I'll have that put on the site, because we redid the site a while ago, and yeah, I'll have those put back on the site. But yes, I can do them. I'm just kind of a little bit more focused on actually teaching it rather than doing it now. But I would be open and willing to do that. So yes.
Very
good.
good.
Tell them what your website is, Kerri.
So if you're interested,
what is your website address?
So there's a couple different ways to enter the website. If you're interested in doing this work, I'm going to send you to one place, and then the other place is also what your link is. So I would like to ask your listeners, if you're interested in the video series, which I'll tell you about in a second, I would prefer that you actually use the link for the Supernatural Girls show, because it'll take you to the same place. And then that'll mean that PJ and Pamela and Patricia can get paid for, having me on here. So, but anyway, if you want to schedule a call, if you're like ready to do this, PK, I'm so sorry, PK. I'm just like kind of brain, my mind is otherwise.
You've had a lot to say.
In another world.
Yeah. So if you want to do this and you're ready to sort of jump on board and you want to schedule a call with me and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go, I just have a few questions, and I want to schedule a call, go to divinewithin.com/call, and when you schedule that, let us know that you heard about it on Supernatural Girls, so that we can credit the show with, bringing you in. Or if you would like to know a little bit more about it, participate in the 3-part video series, and then after that there's a master class, and you can just join. You can just like say, okay, I want the payment plan, or I want this, and you can just join. So if you want to do that, you can either go to their link, or if you're hearing this and you don't see the link, go to divinewithin.com/video series, all one word, divinewithin.com/video series. But again, I would like to ask that if you're on the original show, Blog Talk Radio, or if you're hearing it where there's a link, please click on their link instead, and then that will bring you to a 3-part video series where I talk about the perspective in one video. They're all 15 minutes. Then in the second video, I do consciousness alignments, and then I talk about some results from consciousness alignments. And then in the third video, I talk about the 5 keys to conscious creation, which is kind of what I'm doing here, and it's all kind of moshed together. So that was like a stepping stone that I did along the way of trying to figure out what is it that I had done back in 2004, and it's kind of a drawn-out sort of demonstration of what I do now, but it's now just sort of like all moshed together, and I just kind of spit it out. But that's more of a process, so that takes longer. But it gives you the mechanics.
Yes, that's what people will need to see. So I will be posting that link again on our Facebook page for everybody. I'll also tweet it out so people can find it that way. The video series is wonderful. So it's really worth watching. And Kerri, we can't thank you enough for coming on the show. Sorry about the sound problems. I don't know what happened, but I'm glad we got you back on. PK too, and myself. So somehow our persistence paid off. We got back on the board. So thank you, everybody, for continuing to listen through that. And we'll be back next week with another great show. I believe we have Tom Palladino coming back with Scalar Energy. We're going to find out all about what he's doing, and he has some free offers again for our entire audience. So again, Kerri, thank you so much, everybody. We will see you next week for another show. Until then, we'll see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural